Well, hey, we've just finished up both the work in the veto session, and we hope the House's work in the special session. We're happy with what we got done today, and really, I think the highlight of the day is the progress we made on two very important substantive pieces of policy. These were things that we worked very hard on in the regular session. We really applaud Governor Parsons' leadership in identifying these as priorities and worthy of a special session, and we're really pleased that he called the General Assembly back for the purpose of getting these done. Obviously, we also had the veto session today, and there's some areas that we have some disagreement with the governor on some of his budget action, but overall, I think we're seeing the fruits of a really strong cooperative working relationship between the governor and the House of Representatives. So Budget Chairman Fitzpatrick is here and can start if you guys have any questions on the technical aspects of the veto session, and then we'll go into the two substantive policy bills.
Yeah, I mean, I think the House of Representatives did our job today, and the job the Constitution set up is for the governor to review the budget, and if he doesn't like something, he can veto it, and if we want to disagree with that, we have the opportunity to do that. We're a bicameral legislature, so obviously the Senate has a say in that process as well. And, we kind of imagined that it was likely the Senate may not take it up, but I still felt like, we should do the right thing. What we felt was the right thing and have the votes. And, if you guys have any questions about them, happy to answer them. If not, that's about all there is to say.
You have any concerns about any of those individual items if the Senate does not take any of them up?
I think that at the end of the day, the legislature's going to be back in January. I think the appropriate thing to do on the ones that we did override would be to deal with those right now. The Senate has, I think they've adjourned, so I think, they disagreed with that. But I think those things will, be dealt with in January when we come back. I still, remain in the space that this is not about the governor versus the legislature. The governor came into office in June and had basically 1 month to try to review the budget at the same time he was trying to assemble his team. And, I think that unfortunately there were some things they didn't get the full picture on and had to make some decisions before they had all the information. And, so we'll continue to work with the governor. This is not intended to be, an issue that is supposed to disrupt the relationship. It's just a part of the process. And I think it's a healthy part of the process for us to have it. And I think that's why the Constitution says we have to come here and talk about these things. So,
can we get you guys, before we do anything else, come this way a little bit?
Anything else on the veto session?
If Mr. Chairman, on the stroke funding, the program that the Heart Association had talked about, when I did talk to the governor over the summer after he vetoed it, his comment to me was, well, the department should just take it out of their budget. They have a $1.1 billion budget. Paraphrasing, that's essentially what he said. You disagreed with that.
Yeah, I mean, we have had an understanding between the executive and legislative branches that the budget bills, a lot of functions are consolidated into lines so that we don't have budget bills that are 5,000 or 10,000 pages long. But there is documentation backing that up in the budgeting system so that everybody has an understanding of what those appropriations actually mean. The governor vetoed all the people and all the money for that particular program, and my opinion is once you do that, you can't fund that program. So that is going to come to a head in January. It's going to be an issue, and it'll get dealt with in a different way. I would have preferred to have dealt with it, here and now, and potentially in a different manner than what we were working on. But it's going to be something that's addressed, and if that means that the budget bills do have to be 5,000 pages long, then maybe that's where we end up. But if we have to get really prescriptive, it's not ideal. But if that's what it takes, we can do that. So, but I hope that's not where we end up.
Anything else? All right. I'll ask Representative Austin and Representative Corlew. Obviously, the expansion of treatment courts has been a priority of the General Assembly. It's been a priority of the Supreme Court when they've come and given state of the judiciary addresses, and it's obviously a priority for Governor Parson. So we have seen Missouri is a true leader in the treatment court space. We've demonstrated time and time again it's an effective model. It dramatically reduces recidivism, and this bill is going to allow that program to expand statewide in a much broader way than it's existed in the past. So I want to thank Representative Austin and Representative Corlew for their work, and a lot of the other members who've been a part of this. This was a bipartisan effort, and we're happy to get it over to the Senate. So with that, I will turn it over to Representative Austin.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank you for all your help on it. And it certainly has not been a one-man operation here. We've had a lot of people involved in getting this across the finish line, not least of which is what the Speaker mentioned was the governor's leadership in bringing this back to special session while we're here in veto session. I'm greatly appreciative of that. Be happy to answer any questions.
Just so that we're clear, what are the status of these two bills? Have they been third read yet, or just perfected?
Third read and passed.
They were third read and passed both.
Yes.
So.
Okay, obviously the other big issue that we took up today was the expansion of computer science education and science, technology, engineering, and math education. This has been the product of a whole lot of discussion in the House and a whole lot of work on behalf of our members. Representative Lauer has been talking and working on these issues for a very long time. Representative Fitzpatrick has been very focused on workforce development issues during his time in the House. And so to see us get what I think is a pretty significant step forward done this week is very important. When we talk about trying to compete for jobs in the 21st century, we've got to have a trained, educated workforce. And that means up and down the skills spectrum. And this legislation, I think, is going to help us close the gap in some of that skills spectrum. So with that, I'll turn it over to Travis to talk a little bit about the substance.
Yeah, I'm thrilled it's done. You know, the STEM piece in particular I've worked on for 3 years. The computer science piece was something that Chairwoman Lauer and I worked on extensively this year, and many hours and compromises and work on that piece. I think that's a really important piece, enabling kids to have more opportunities to get a substantial education while they're in high school and in middle school now. And so I look forward to the Senate passing that and getting it on the governor's desk and getting that opportunity in front of kids.
Representative Lauer? I want to give Representative Lauer a chance first, please.
That's okay. We have, as he indicated, Missouri is a bit behind as far as our workforce development, and we know that from site selectors that are looking for where to place businesses, that is the top item that they're looking for in criteria is what is the workforce pool. And in order for us to be competitive, not only within our state, but with other states, we have to increase the talent that we have. And this is certainly a step toward that, along with many other things that we've done this year and in past years, and I'm sure we'll continue to do.
Representative Curtis proposed an amendment which was ultimately voted down. He was saying he wanted to get some more real-world experience, as he put it, into some of these courses. You felt that was worth discussing, but not in this setting. Why is that?
Yeah, listen, Garrett, I think what's really important about that is we have a lot to do on workforce development, and I don't think there's any silver bullet on that. And this bill isn't a silver bullet, but it's a move in that direction. When the governor vetoed this, it wasn't on the computer science piece. The piece that he focused on was the STEM curriculum. And so I think for today, expanding it and then sending it over to the Senate with brand new language that's never been vetted in committee could have expanded the amount of time needed for special session, and I thought that was unnecessary. And so Representative Curtis and I have talked about that issue when we passed the bill in regular session and in the special session. And I think it's an important one to consider, but now wasn't the time. We needed to narrowly tailor this special session to what the governor wanted to get accomplished and what we needed to get accomplished, and I think that would have expanded it too much.
Mr. Speaker, do you anticipate the Senate making any changes to these bills? And if so, are you leaving the House on standby in case you have to do conference?
We adjourned to a technical session, so we have that flexibility, but we've worked very hard with our colleagues in the Senate to go through this language multiple times, and with the administration, in the hopes that we will not have to bring the full House back and the Senate will be able to take and truly agree the bills as we pass them today. So I never get in the business of saying anything is 100% certain in the Missouri Senate. I've learned that lesson the hard way. But I anticipate that everything will go smoothly over there. They've got good bill sponsors and strong leadership over there, so I expect we'll get those bills done as is. Anything else?
Mr. Speaker, you've been here 8 years, and Speaker, obviously, for a number of years. What are you most proud of in your time as Speaker, and maybe your biggest disappointment, something you wanted to get done that you weren't able to get across the finish line?
I think the thing that I'm probably most proud about, and it's not been solely my effort, it's been the effort of a lot of people, is to try to make this institution and this process work the way that it was intended to work. We are fortunate in Missouri to have a very large House of Representatives by comparison to some other states. 163 members makes us the fourth largest House of Representatives in the country. And what that means is that we have an incredible collection of talented men and women who come to this place all with the same goal and desire, and that's to make the state a better place. Now, we often have very, very different views on what that means, but so I've always seen it as one of the primary roles of the Speaker of creating the kind of process and environment that allows those members to be successful. And I think in large part we have accomplished that. There are, you always look back at the end of every session and you can think to 2 or 3 things that you regret that didn't get done. But all in all, I'm going to leave the legislature having made some good decisions and some bad decisions, but I'm not going to leave with anything that I truly have a whole lot of regret over, because I know that the group that's coming behind my class and the next group of leaders are going to pick up the mantle, and they're going to keep trying to move the state forward the same way that our predecessors did. Anything else? All right. Thanks very much.
Thanks. Good to see you.